Dear students, I welcome all of you to the fifth part of my class on phonetics. Here I am going to discuss consonants. So consonants are speech sounds during the production of which the air passage is obstructed in the oral cavity or the air passage is narrowed. This results in an audible frictional noise. So there are 24 consonants in English, and during the production of consonants, the air passage is obstructed in the oral cavity. Uh, and the air passage is narrowed. Act, Articulators are very close to each other. They are touching each other or they are very close to each other so that the air is completely blocked or air passage is narrowed. This results in an audible frictional sound. So the sounds produced in this way are called consonant sounds. So we have seen in the previous class, vowels are voiced sounds during the production of which the air escapes through the mouth freely and continuously. So unlike vowels, here there is no free and continuous passage of air, but here air is blocked somewhere in the oral cavity. So vowels are articulated with a structure of open approximation. That is, air escaped freely and continuously. Consonants may be voiced or voiceless. So there are voiced consonants and voiceless consonants in English. So we have seen in the previous class what is voiced and voiceless sounds. So voiced sounds during the production of which the vocal cords are loosely held together, and when the air goes out it vibrates. All vowels are voiced sounds. And during the production of certain sounds, the vocal cords are, the glottis is open and the vocal cords are wide apart, and air moving freely without any friction. So such sounds are voiceless sounds. So consonants may be voiced or voiceless. Consonants are classified as voiced consonants or voiceless consonants. Or consonants are classified on the basis of the place of articulation. Place of articulations means where the sound is produced, or which organs are involved in the production of these sounds. Which organs are the active articulator or passive articulators. Which organs are involved in the articulation of these sounds. So consonants are classified on the basis of the place of articulation or organs involved in the production of speech sounds. Consonants are also classified on the basis of the manner of articulation, how they are articulated, where they are articulated, whether they are voiced sound or voiceless sound. In this way, there are different classification for consonants, as same in the case of vowels, which we have seen in the previous class. Classification of consonants on the basis of the place of articulation. So, the articulating organs. So, first first group is labial. Labial sounds are produced with lips. Lips are involved in the production of labial sounds. Two kinds of labial sounds: bilabial sounds, labiodental sounds. Bilabial sounds are the sounds during the production of which both lips are involved. For example, p, b, w, m. These are the bilabial sounds in English. P. Both lips are the articulators. B. Both lips are active articulators. V. Here also both lips involved. M. You can see both lips are involved. So they are bilabial sounds. Labiodental sounds. So the meaning is clear from the term itself. Bilabial, labiodental, lips and teeth. articulated by the lower lip against the upper row of teeth. Upper row of the teeth is passive articulator, lower lip is the active articulator. Lower lip touches the upper row of teeth. F and V, labiodental. Then dental sounds. And it's clear from the label itself, dental, the teeth. Sounds are produced with the tip of the tongue against the upper row of teeth. Th as in thin, the as in then. Th and the tip of the tongue against the upper row of teeth. Then alveolar sounds. Alveolar ridge means teeth ridge. Just the path of the place, the part of the roof of the mouth, which is just behind the teeth ridge. The part of the roof of the mouth which situates just behind the teeth ridge is alveolar ridge. Alveolar sounds are articulated by the tip or blade of the tongue against the teeth ridge or alveolar ridge. So these sounds are known as alveolar sounds. T, D, N, L, S, Z. You can easily understand while producing these sounds, our tip of or blade of the tongue is touching the teeth ridge or alveolar ridge, which is just behind the front row of teeth on the roof of the mouth. T, D, N, L, S, Z. Then post alveolar. Post alveolar means sounds are produced with the tip of the tongue held close to the back part of the teeth ridge. Post alveolar, the meaning is clear from the term. Post alveolar, behind the teeth ridge, back part of the teeth ridge. Post alveolar sounds. The tip of the tongue held close to the back part of the teeth ridge, and there will be no contact between the articulators. The articulators, the passive and active articulators are very near to each other, but they are not completely blocking the air passage. R. So while producing R, articulators are very near to each other, but they are not completely blocking the R as in write and record, not completely blocking the passage of air. Palatoalveolar. During the production of these sounds, the tip and blade of the tongue are held against the teeth ridge, and the front of the tongue is raised towards the hard palate. So there are two movements here. Tip and blade of the tongue held against the teeth ridge. Front of the tongue is held against the hard palate. So palatoalveolar, both hard palate and alveolar ridge are articulators and tongue. These three articulators for this sound: hard palate, alveolar ridge, and tongue. Tongue is the active articulator, and alveolar ridge and hard palate are the passive articulators. The sounds are ch, j, sh, j. You pronounce these sounds, you can understand how they are articulated. Ch, j, sh, j. Then palatal sounds. Palatal sounds are articulated by the front of the tongue raised towards the hard palate. Here, front of the tongue raised towards the hard palate. So the term is palatal, hard palate. Front of the tongue raised towards the hard palate. Here, as in you, yet. Velar sounds. Velar sounds are articulated by raising the back of the tongue towards the soft palate. Soft palate is also known as velum. So these sounds are known as velar sound. Velum is the soft palate. K, soft palate is back of the tongue is raised towards the soft palate. G, n, back of the tongue is raised towards the soft palate. You pronounce the sound, you can understand how they are articulated. Glottal or laryngeal are articulated in the glottis, and the two vocal cords are the active articulators. H for the sound H, the active articulators are two vocal cords, and the glottis is the opening of the larynx where the vocal cords are situated. Larynx is the upper part of the windpipe and glottis is the opening of the larynx, and vocal cord situates in the glottis. So vocal cords are the active articulators of this glottal sound in English, only glottal sound in English. So these are the classification of consonants based on the place of articulation. So based on the place of articulation, these consonants are divided into 8 groups. And now we can see the manner of articulation or the basis of the stricture involved. The manner of articulation. Stricture means the passage of air, the air passage, how the air is blocked or how the air is released during the production of various speech sounds. First is plosives. Plosives are also known as stops. Plosives are also known as stops. During the production of plosives sounds, the articulators come into firm contact. Then the air is blocked, blocking the air at some point of oral cavity. Nasal passage of air is also blocked. Then the articulators are suddenly separated and air escapes with an explosive noise. So plosive sound, during the production of the plosive sound, the active and passive articulators are in firm contact and then suddenly separates, releasing the air. Examples of the plosives. The plosives in English are p, b, t, d, k, g. So somewhere in the oral cavity, the passage of air is blocked and suddenly released. P. Suddenly, P is a bilabial sound. Both lips are bilabial plosive. B is a bilabial plosive. T is an alveolar plosive. D is an alveolar plosive. K is a velar plosive. G is a velar plosive. So bilabial plosive, both lips completely block the airstream, then suddenly separates and there is a sudden release of air with an explosive noise. P. So in some cases, plosives may be incomplete plosives. They cannot articulate fully. They may become incomplete. When a plosive sound is followed by another plosive, or an effricate sound in the same word, the first plosive is not fully pronounced. Such plosives are incomplete plosive. For example, k in act. So when we say kite, kin, k is fully pronounced, but act, k is not fully pronounced. You pronounce it, you can feel it. K in kin, act, k is incomplete because it is followed by another plosive t. Picture, k is incomplete. Like kite, kin, picture, k is incomplete because it is followed by ch, which is an effricate sound. They are incomplete plosives. Nasal plosion means in certain words the plosive is immediately followed by a nasal sound. So in such cases the plosive is not pronounced in the usual way. So the plosives are nasalized. The air escapes through the nose. When a plosive is followed by a nasal sound. M, N, G are the three nasal sounds in English. Topmost, P is followed by M. Sharpness, P is followed by N. Then these plosives are nasalized. They are known as nasal Plosive. Then first group is plosives. Then second group of consonants are effricates. During the production of effricates, the oral and nasal passages are completely blocked. The oral closure is removed slowly and an audible friction is heard. So, like plosives, here also oral and nasal passages are completely blocked. But during the production of plosives, these articulators are suddenly separated and air escapes with an explosive noise. But here in effricates, the oral closure is removed slowly and an audible friction is heard. Ch, j. So these articulators are separated very slowly. Ch and j. Ch as in church, j as in judge. Then fricatives. In the production of fricatives, the articulators are brought so close to each other, but they are not, the air is not completely blocked. Here plosives and effricates, the air is completely blocked. Here articulators are very close to each other and air can escape. Air escapes through the narrow space. There is a narrow space between them. Producing an audible friction. You pronounce the sounds z, s. So air escapes z, th, v, f, v, r, sh, j. J as in pleasure, sh as in ship, z as in zoo, s in sing. So these are fricatives. S is a alveolar fricative, z is a alveolar fricative, sh is a palato-alveolar fricative, j is a palato-alveolar fricative. Effricates and fricatives are together known as sibilants. Next is trill or roll. In the production of a trill or roll, the articulators are brought into contact with each other a number of times, as in red, number of times, producing a series of rapid intermittent taps. When we say the tongue tip tapping against the teeth ridge many times. The sound produced is a trill. It is considered typical of Scottish English. These kind of sounds are typical of Scottish English. Instead of a series of taps, if a single tap is made by the articulators, quickly coming together and going away, it is called a tap or a flap. When r occurs between vowels as in very, sorry, it is pronounced as a tap, r. So trill or roll sound is example is r. Then lateral sound. During the production of lateral sound, the tip of the tongue is raised towards the alveolar ridge, blocking the oral passage at the center. The air escapes through the sides of the tongue. So only lateral sound in English is l. So the tongue is raised towards the alveolar ridge and blocking the oral passage l. And the air escapes both sides of the tongue. You pronounce l. The tongue is touching the alveolar ridge, blocking the air, and air passes through both sides. So lateral sound, l. The nasal sound in English. There are three nasal sounds in English: m, n, ng. So the meaning is clear from the label nasal. These sounds are produced through the air is passing through the nasal cavity. During the production of nasal sounds, the soft palate is lowered and the nasal passage of air is open. Then the oral passage is completely blocked at some point and the lung air escapes through the nose. So lung air escapes through the nose during the production of nasal sound. So we have already seen m is a bilabial sound. Both lips are involved. So m is a bilabial nasal sound. Ne is a alveolar nasal sound. N is a velar nasal sound. Frictionless continuance. It's also known as approximants. These are the consonants which can be prolonged for a long time without any audible friction. Just like a trill or roll, it also can be prolonged for a long time without any audible friction. The articulators are brought near, very close to each other, but not producing any friction, not touching each other. Articulators are very close to each other. Example is R in red, right. R in red and right is articulated as frictionless continuant. Last category, eighth category is semi-vowel. Semi-vowels or approximants. Semi-vowels are gliding sounds during the production of which the speech organs glide from one vowel position to another. They function like though they have quality of vowel, they function like consonants in the structure of a syllable despite their vocalic quality. The semi-vowels in English are w as in west and y as in yard. In the production of w, the glide is from the tongue position of approximately oo, vowel oo, w. And for y, the position of the vowel e, w, y. So here you have to differentiate between w and the consonant w and v. So v is a bilabial semi-vowel, v, as in wind, whale, wine, bilabial, both lips are involved. The pronounced with both lips, v. Then v as in van, 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 is a labiodental, lower lip touching the upper front teeth, v, van. So v is a different sound. We often mispronounce v as v, but v is v. That is a labio dental fricative, and v is a semi-vowel, bilabial semi-vowel. And v and y are the two semi-vowels of English. They have quality of vowel, but they are considered as consonants. Frictionless continuants and semi-vowels are called approximants because such sounds are articulated with a structure of open approximation. Open approximation means the gap between them is wide enough for the air to escape without any friction. Air is escaping without any friction. So they are known as structure of open approximation, articulated with a structure of open approximation. So these are the 8 groups based on the manner of articulation. Thus, we have classified consonants as voiceless sounds and voiced sounds, and we are classified them again into 8 categories based on their place of articulation. Again, we have classified them into 8 groups based on their manner of articulation. So we can here give them a 3-term label. Each vowel can be defined using a 3-term label based on this classification. So P is a voiceless sound. Bilabial plosive. P as in pin. B as in bucket is a voiced bilabial plosive. T as in tin is a voiceless alveolar plosive. D as in duck is a voiced alveolar plosive. K as in kin is a voiceless velar plosive. G as in girl, voiced velar plosive. F, initial sound of fan, is a voiceless labiodental fricative. V is a voiced labiodental fricative. Th is a voiceless dental fricative. th, as in thin, thick, thought, then the, then this, that, voiced dental fricative, s, song, sit, voiceless alveolar fricative, z, zip, voiced alveolar fricative, sh, ship, voiceless palato-alveolar fricative, j, as in pleasure, measure, voiced palato-alveolar fricative. H is a voiceless glottal fricative. Ch, church, chair, the initial sound of these words. Voiceless palato-alveolar effricate. J, voiced palato-alveolar effricate. M, voiced bilabial nasal. N, voiced alveolar nasal. Ng, as in king, the final sound of sing, king. Voiced velar nasal. Y, as in young, you. Voiced palatal semi-vowel. V, voiced bilabial semi-vowel, wind and veil. We often mispronounce this V as V. V is a voiced labiodental with the lower lip and front teeth are the articulators of V. And for V, it is a bilabial sound and also it is a semi-vowel. It is pronounced as V using both lips. V. Wind, veil, R, voiced post-alveolar frictionless continuant. L, voiced alveolar lateral sound, the initial sound of light, late. So these are the three term labels assigned to 24 vowels of English. You have to learn it, these three term labels. So this is a chart for consonants in English. Bilabial plosive, labiodental fricative, dental fricative. So this chart shows these classifications clearly. Another chart for monophthongs. Monophthongs are pure vowels, 12 pure vowels, diphthongs, 8 diphthongs, total 20 vowels, 24 consonants of English. So you learn this chart and this phonemic chart and their three term labels. Here I am going to wind up the session.